Hi, good afternoon. My name is Tom Seiler, and welcome back to Life, the Universe, and Bowling. Today's going to be another one of my video rants, or video logs, whatever you want to call it. We're going to talk a little bit today about video bowling ball reviews. I've had some friends that have asked me, and to be clear, full disclosure, back in the early 2000s, I'm talking 2002, 3, 4, 5. I used to do a fair number of video reviews on bowling balls. This was before video reviews were commonplace. I mean, a lot of what we did was on ballreviews.com and sites like that back in the day. But I used to lug a camera and a tripod out to the center, and these were in the days that cameras took movies on tape. And then I would come back and I would digitize them into the computer, and I would upload a 2 or 3 or 5 second sample of a bowling ball going down the lane. And I would put that on my website with a ball review of new releases. I threw a lot of Storm and some Ebonite stuff back then, and then ultimately Brunswick. But I haven't done a video ball review in probably over 15 years. Now, I did quit bowling for a while. I was out of the sport for 7 or 8 years. But now that I've been back in the sport for 3 years, a lot of my friends have asked me, hey, you've gotten back into drilling. Hey, you've gotten back into some coaching. What's your time frame for doing ball reviews on video? And honestly, I've stayed away from it a little bit just because my theory on how ball reviews work and my game in particular don't necessarily always line up, and let me explain that. There are some guys that do some really, really great work on ball reviews. They're a lot of work to make. When I say guys out there, the ones that come to mind are, J.R. Raymond. He's definitely the first one that I will watch everything that he creates, even if I'm not interested in the bowling ball, just because I want to see what it looks like for J.R. I watch almost everything that Luke Rosdahl does. He's very good, very honest. I think he does a great job for Bowler Smart getting reviews out there quickly. And then, there's a handful of others. I watch some of Beef and Barnesy stuff. Even though I don't necessarily throw it like either of those guys, I watch just to see what their reviews are. Both of them are staff guys, so I don't know how much I trust the output, not questioning their integrity. I'm just saying that when you are fed every bowling ball that manufacturer makes and you get paid to like those bowling balls, you tend to like them even when maybe you wouldn't otherwise like them. But there's a lot of guys out there doing really, really good work doing bowling ball reviews. Ron Hicklin's reviews, again, Ron's left-handed. I can't relate to that. What I can relate to is the guy has a lot of knowledge about the sport of bowling, and I like the fact that he changes surfaces, because that's something I do with almost every bowling ball that I touch. But another thing about ball reviews that is difficult is, like, for example, I'll take JR and most of the other ball reviewers out there, they will drill one of everything that comes out, and they will drill them all the same. I don't tend to have a favorite layout. I have a few favorite layouts, but I don't drill every bowling ball exactly the same. So I don't generally have a use in my bag for a solid ASIM drilled with a 4.5-inch pin and a 2000 grit cover. That works for me once a year, maybe twice. Likewise, the other end of the spectrum is true also. I don't necessarily always match up with the absolute super weakest of the bowling balls with those routine, 45 by 5 by 45 kind of drill patterns, or even the 60 by 5 by 30. I just don't drill everything exactly the same. So when I get bowling balls in, sometimes I'll put a layout on it that I think matches the core and cover combination of that bowling ball. So it's hard for me to take two bowling balls out that have slightly different layouts and expect you to see the difference, especially when I'm bowling either on a house shot or Kegel chromium or something that's got some ratio to it that tends to make all the bowling balls look a little bit the same. Anyhow, so I'm not a guy that asks for likes and subscribes. I think the people that are interested in my content do that anyway. But I'm curious to get your feedback on, do you think there's room for another video ball reviewer, for me to do more video editing work, to do more on-lane work? And here's my thought process. When I get a new bowling ball, and I don't drill everything that comes out, I skip those that I don't think are gonna fit me well, but I drill almost everything that Motiv releases, and I drill most of what Storm releases. I skip more Storm releases than I do Motiv, just because there are so many more releases from that company. But I have friends that work for both of them. I respect both of the motions that they make, even though they're very different on the lane. I have a lot of those balls in my bag, and I tend to drill most of their stuff. But, and I'm going to take a particular example that I have here and ask for some feedback. This is a bowling ball that just came out. This is a Steel Forge from Motiv. Already one of my favorite bowling balls. When I get a bowling ball like this, and you can see it's got some chalk lines on it. I've thrown these quite a bit, but I chalked them up so you can kind of see what the layout is. This layout is pretty unconventional. Even if you talk to people that use short pins, they'll say this is a pretty unconventional layout because it's only 1.25 inches from the PAP. Now, I throw a lot of 3/4 inch pins and 1 inch pins, and honestly, of my short pins, this is a strong bowling ball for a short pin. Factory finish on this ball is about 5,500. This one has 4,000 on it right now. I've thrown it at 2,000. I like it at 2,000. But let me show you the other ball that I have on the table here at the moment. It's another Steel Forge drilled with a much more conventional 5 3/4 inch pin to PAP distance. This one's a 60 by 5 3/4 by 30. If I had a standard layout for Motiv, this is it. In Storm balls, I tend to do 5-inch pins. In Motiv balls, to get a similar look out of them, I have to go about 1 inch longer, 3/4 to 1 inch longer on pin to PAP distance. But this would be kind of what I would consider a benchmark layout for me. Almost every bowling ball that I drill lately, I'm drilling 2 of them, and one of them looks like each of these. So I guess my question is, do you see, or do you think you would see a purpose for a ball review maybe that doesn't show you every bowling ball with the same layout, but shows you 2 bowling balls with layouts like these, a short pin and a long pin layout, maybe with some different surfaces on them, maybe on some different patterns? Because in my experience, especially when dealing with balls that are, smoother than 2000 grit, for me, even these 2 bowling balls, as differently as they're laid out, to a standard video camera shooting 3 or 4 shots with each bowling ball, you're not going to see a lot of difference. Trained eyes will. If you watch a lot of bowling, you'll notice that the shorter pins are going to be cleaner and longer and not as responsive down lane. But on a house condition, it's still pretty clean, it's still pretty long, and it's still pretty responsive, because that's what the bowling balls do these days. But my question to you is, in the comments, do you think there's room for someone else like myself to do bowling ball review videos? Would you be interested in seeing review videos of bowling balls like the 2 that I've showed you here, like a short pin, same ball in a long pin, maybe 2 of them in the same surface, etc.? Drop me a like or a comment and just let me know what you think. I've gotten a lot of asks from my friends to do this. Most of my friends that know me know how much I dislike video editing and all the stuff that comes with that. But as I get more involved with bowling again, it's something I'm willing to do. I'm just curious before I dive into it how much you guys, the viewers, want to see it. Anyhow, hope this serves you well. I probably will post a review of these two bowling balls or this one bowling ball with two layouts for you guys to view. Even people, like I said, that throw some short pins, when they see how I drill short pins, and I'll make a video on short pins later, but when they see how I drill them, I do it quite a bit differently than everybody else. And when you see me on league night bowling in the centers that I bowl, you'll more often than not see me throwing short pins, but you won't even realize that they are because the ball motion looks a lot like other ball motions. Anyway, hope this finds you well, and enjoy until next time.